Hello. 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 Yeah. Okay. Wow.
that Arjun has gets taken by his best friend, okay, in the camp. So he doesn't get that. Okay. So he gets disappointed. कि अभी इतना सब करके क्या फायदा है? क्या हुआ? Again, again he faces a dilemma because of अभी क्या डिलेमा होगा तो मिल गया उसको नौकरी जो उसको पहले टॉप कंपनी की जॉब चाहिए थी वो नहीं मिली अब उसको सेकंड कंपनी की मिली तो अब वो सोचेगा कि अब मैं वापस एमबी का या कुछ कैट दूं फिर वापस टॉप कॉलेज में जाऊं फिर वो सब अब वो तो हो गया लेकिन अच्छी कंपनी नहीं मिली उसको अब पोटेंशियल जॉब पोटेंशियल अब उस पोजीशन में नहीं पहुंच पाए फिर वो नहीं कर पाएगा तो टू और नॉट टू डू ठीक है सो वन डिलेमा हियर इज टू डू नॉट टू डू अगेन ओके हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू गाइस थिंक कि एक टू डू नॉट टू डू होता है या होगा oh okay so some person say I confused
some person says that obviously if he doesn't get the job of his choice, so of course that to do not to do will happen. What is the other option in front of him?
नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन पैकेज और
हाँ.
जो पैकेज बॉस ने ऑफर किया था उस टाइम
So maybe the dilemma here is that the package which the boss offered 2 years before would be more than what the company is offering now.
What did you do your bachelor's in? Marketing. No wonder इतना अच्छा story बोलते हो. I mean, he took our story into a different zone altogether. But good one. I didn't think about this. But समझ लो ये भी dilemma डाल दो कि what was offered to him 2 years back, okay, when the boss gave him that promotion, वो salary का same package अब मिल रहा है उसको. Okay, obviously a cause for a dilemma. Okay, any other scenarios? Job position, yeah, grade, position, role.
he mentioned that the option that he wanted in a specific field or a specific setup, which was not get by help on the interview process, but the second position that he get from the second company or third company is not according to his interest. So he is thinking that if in future I will be good for this role, if I can go my career from this level to a next level.
Yes.
Because before I was in a different sector, in a different IT field, and after MBA, what would I get? Because if it is a finance sector to from IT to a finance, it's a very big change. So this can be a very big dilemma which many of us can face because from the IT sector.
Sure. But this is very similar to what is already said. Anybody has a drastically different view of why there would be a dilemma? Some other scenario altogether. अब जो हमने discuss already कर दिया वो scenario नहीं, some other scenario that comes to your mind. Any other scenario other than grade, position, salary, what will happen to my career? I have got lesser than what was offered to me 2 years back when I took the MBA program, etc., etc. Yes.
Like he has studied this, get a job. He has studied MBA and get a job like this. So what could happen if he could study more?
तो अब क्या करेगा? PhD करेगा?
Sir,
Okay, yeah, possibility तो है. One second, one at a time. Yeah. Very good one. Okay, this is a good twist. Maybe he may think कि किसी के अंदर क्यों नौकरी करनी है? Why not start business? Fair thought. Okay. Any other drastic views? इसके अलावा कोई views है? Not similar. Okay. Yeah. हाँ बोलो.
Sir, maybe he wanted to join the same company that is he wanted to join a company with his best friend.
No, वो तो नहीं हो पाएगा ना. सबको सब कुछ नहीं.
Means they want to
किसी को जमीन, किसी को आसमान.
They want to work in the same car.
नहीं, but वो तो नहीं हो पाएगा. See, it's not possible, right? I mean, his friend already got that job, so he's not going to get that job. Okay, either he takes the second job that he has got, or he does whatever some of you guys said. Somebody says he open his own business. Somebody says, okay. Maybe the location of the job is too far away. Okay, we will take this scenario also. Okay, yeah.
Sir, maybe I that this company is the direct competitor of the previous company he was working in.
Okay.
Competitor.
तो क्या तो dilemma क्या है? ये तो अच्छी बात है.
No, in terms of they could, if I got this company, previous company boss can be and we can reach the
ठीक है, ये just hold your horses, okay? Keep this question in your mind when we come to the question section, okay? Just hold them. ये दो question, one is location and this question, okay? Both these questions, just keep it in your mind in the question section. Don't. No, I agree with what he said, similar to what he said. ना बहुत दूर है उसका घर से या whatever, you know, distance is far, etc., etc. Fair, yes.
सर तो पहले वाले कंपनी में बहुत आराम से काम करना था
हाँ
तो वहाँ पे वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस अच्छा था बट नेक्स्ट कंपनी में हिंदी करने के बाद डेफिनेटली वर्क प्रेशर ज्यादा होगा वो डिलेमा में आएगा कि इतना कुछ करने के बाद भी प्रेशर बहुत ज्यादा है या फिर वो पहले वाले कंपनी पहले की तरह ही है
ओके
सर
आप पहले इनको बोल देने दीजिए हाँ
he is not that
no he is not doing any job right okay he has done an MBA program he has just got placed in the final place
he is not that
right
to do that job and he may think that I have already done
right so this is a cause for dilemma right? Which is what we were talking yeah good so he has this dilemma okay again he consults some people this time he consults a alumni of his जो उसके पहले पास आउट हुआ है ठीक है he speaks to that individual and that person says देख भाई लोड मत ले just do whatever job comes to you जो मिला है ले लो ठीक है और कुछ ना कुछ होगा अगर आप अच्छे होगे तो something or the other will happen so now he takes a leap of faith he takes that job offer okay now many years pass by he gets invited in that same college that he had worked, I mean, he had studied in, to address a group of people who were taking an MBA program. And this time, in his address, he says that an MBA will not answer all your questions. Okay, it will not give you all the answers to your questions. But what it will do, definitely, it will help you ask the right questions. So at least you can ask the right questions. You don't know whether you would get an answer to some of these questions or not. Okay? So the younger batch wale log tali wali bajate hain. Then he goes back to his work area. Okay. Now he spends many years in his work area, becomes extremely successful. Okay. And then what happens? Becomes extremely successful, becomes the CEO of a becomes the CEO of a which company?
Same company from any side.
The same company that he used to work as an IT engineer, okay, he gets appointed as the CEO of that particular company. Now, does this story sound familiar? Does it sound familiar? Not familiar. हाँ सुना हुआ है ये स्टोरी नहीं सुना है not heard okay this is each of your stories all of you sitting here are these Arjuns and this is your story okay what I did was I just future paced it a few years hence just to try to tell you a story today but this is going to be at least a lot of you guys story in the next 10, 15, 20 years okay so what I just told you as a story is otherwise called in management language as a concept called the hero's journey. It's a concept by a gentleman called Joseph Campbell. Okay, you will learn in management theory or something. I think you may learn this. If not, then you can read. There is a book by Joseph Campbell also called The Hero's Journey. और अगर अभी भी आपको समझ में नहीं आया मैंने क्या बोला तो वो लाइफ ऑफ पाई मूवी देखी आप लोगों ने और सिम्बा का तो स्टोरी सुना ही हो गया ओके अब आपको कुछ पैटर्न दिख रहा है साउंड्स फैमिलियर स्टोरी साउंड्स फैमिलियर अर्जुन को रिप्लेस करो सिम्बा से वो सारे challenges that we spoke about all the dilemmas the friendships that he made the trust the lead the call to adventure all of these things form the part of the 12 point pathway in the hero's journey okay while you have taken one journey this is just the beginning of another journey of all of you as heroes. Okay, so all the very best to all of you guys. And every time that you come across some situation or scenario, please remember the questions that I asked and the answers that you guys gave and what really happened. Every time that you come across a hurdle or a situation or a dilemma, the response that you give to it is what decides who you become. So this Arjun, okay, if he wouldn't have taken that leap of faith first when his manager gave him a promotion, would he have become the CEO of that particular company? Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, maybe. Okay, maybe not. Okay. Now, because he took that leap of faith, he moved to the next stage. Next stage, we spoke about another dilemma scenario that came his way. What was that dilemma scenario? Placement. And a lot of us sitting here after 2 years, you will be asking all these questions. If not to somebody like me, you'll be asking these questions in your mind to yourself. घर से बहुत दूर है, हाँ? पहले जो कर रहा था उससे कम पैसा मिल रहा है, टाइटल ठीक नहीं है, ग्रेड ठीक नहीं है, मैच नहीं हो रहा है ग्रेड. If Arjun would have not taken that offer, what could have happened? The fact is, anything would have happened. Okay, but the probability of him becoming the CEO of this particular company would have been lesser. He could have become a CEO of his own company. Okay, he could have become. Somebody said no, कि ये वो खुद business खोलेगा. Yeah, so could have become a CEO of his own company, but there would have been a lot of limitations because if you see technically, all the CEOs, even of startup companies, they definitely have some work experience. They have always worked with some organization or other before before starting on their own because intelligence and knowledge is good, but there is no competition to experience. Okay, all the very best to you. Enjoy the 2 years of life that you have here. Follow the hero's journey. Think of yourself as the Simbas or the Pis of the world, depending on what fits your taste. But the matter of fact remains that life is a full circle, and at some point in time, we will all think about those dilemmas, tribunal friendships that we made, and ultimately, that's the journey. Okay, so you are starting one today. Uh, Thank you very much for listening to me. And I hope this inspires at least some of you through your hard times or difficult times. And if possible, read the book. It will give you a lot more insight into what I said. Due to paucity of time, I concised it because I wanted to ensure that I take as many questions from you as possible. Because I was told that rather than what I have to talk about, I would want to understand what's on your mind and probably if I'm able to answer some of those. Okay. All the very best to all. Okay, questions. Uh, can we start from somebody who has not asked a question, not participated? Maybe somebody else, anybody, somebody who has not yet participated. Okay. Anybody. You can have any question. I may not have all the answers. If I have, I will share, or I'll share my perspective. Yeah.
So we all maintain it. So what competencies are from the
वापस से बोलो. Can you speak on the mic, please? Yeah.
as the fintech is very much growing nowadays.
Right.
So what competencies do you expect from us from the MBA finance graduates that you see that?
Okay. So let me just take a step back to tell you that sit down, sit. Okay. Competencies are generic in nature. You will learn this around the 2 years that you spend here. You will learn this that competencies are generic. Competencies are not specific. Skills are specific. Okay. So what he asked is about fintech. Okay, fintech क्या होता है? Okay, it is just infusion of technology into the financial services space. That's it. That's it. Now tomorrow you use the same thing in FMCG, you will call it some FM tech or something like that. So there can be a number of names that you can come up with, but ultimately these are skills which you can acquire, and the kind of skills keep changing. Competencies, however, are permanent and portable in the sense that I'll give you my example. I used to work in an IT product company earlier before I moved to the bank. Okay. But the competencies that I carried is the same thing that I leverage or use here. Okay. I have not changed my competence. Skills, of course, you can acquire skills. You can acquire skills. It's a part of time and it takes time to acquire skills, but you can acquire it over a period of time based on whatever you may want to and on competencies. And this is very personal to me because all organizations have their own sets of competencies that they would like or that they evaluate or defines as a success factor. But I think there are some uh, traits that are generic in nature, okay, in my opinion. And whenever I hire anybody as a fresher, the only three things that I look out for. Number one, learning agility. What does this mean? Heard this term? Learning agility सुना है कहाँ पर? नहीं सुना. You have heard learning agility? What does it mean? Sorry.
Eager to learn.
No, eager to learn is not learning agility. Speed of learning. Yes. Speed of learning is learning agility. Pace at which you can learn something. Okay? Why is that a critical trait? Because as years pass, with the advent of AI and all, people have lesser and lesser time. And because you have lesser and lesser time available at your disposal, it is extremely critical for you to be able to absorb things. The quicker you absorb things, the more chances of you to be successful. Okay, so the first skill that I check is learning agility. If somebody asks you, demonstrate learning agility, how would you to learning? What could be a demonstratable trait?
The story you are what we have learned from the story.
What you learned from the story. Okay, but that's not demonstration because demonstration is your experience. If somebody asks you, what's your name? Harsh. So if I ask Harsh, कि Harsh, demonstrate to me that you have learning agility or you are a quick learner. Simple. Why use jargons, learning agility? ये वर्ल्ड में दुनिया में लोग jargon use करते हैं, which is why I use this now. Simply put, quick learn. What would be your response?
I need the time. Like I have learned. Like I have managed time learning file and give it like a test. I have learned to do as like in 10 days. This resume speed which I have learned. The course is about 1 month, but I have learned in 10 days.
Okay. What if I tell you that you don't need to learn Python at all to do any coding?
Yes, I'm giving an example.
So my rebuttal, I'm asking you a question, right? So my rebuttal to it would be that इससे कैसे पता चलता है आप क्विक लर्नर हो? आपने पाइथन 10 दिन में सीखा है. पाइथन सीखने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. बिना पाइथन सीखे ही आप कोडिंग कर सकते हो. देखा है आप इंस्टाग्राम पे हो, देखते हो वो जो ऐड आता है कि learn Python or code in Python in 2 days or 2 minutes or something, without really knowing Python. देखा रहेगा आप लोग. So it is no longer relevant. So how would you still communicate that you're relevant? That you are a quick learner? Easiest. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Example of aptitude. if I can able to solve the trading cost, and I understand.
No, right now you demonstrate. Okay, I have not seen your aptitude test. I don't know how fast you have solved aptitude. How would you demonstrate to me? Yeah.
If I can learn the positive things everyone from 25 to this, how do you get to me?
You have to demonstrate. I agree with you, but you have to demonstrate.
And I have
How
to
you demonstrate.
implement that instantly.
Give me an example.
Just like I was not thinking straight, but when someone asks me a question, I say straight.
How is it relevant to anyone? आपको लगता है जो सीईओ आपका इंटरव्यू ले रहा है उसके लिए रेलेवेंट है आप सीधा बैठे हो उल्टे बैठे हो इट्स नॉट रेलेवेंट ना दैट डजंट शो लर्निंग एबिलिटी I'll take him and then I'll come to you. Yeah.
How much we know about the company just before the what we have learned just before the interview.
Okay, now here I want to bring a big differentiation between information, knowledge, and learning. Okay, these are very different things. In the world of information, people obviously get consumed in the fact that information is everything. No, information is nothing because information is at the click of a button. So there is no thing special about information. जो information आपके पास है वो इनके पास भी है तो what is it that makes you a quick learner in comparison to her when both of you have the same information at your disposal is the question. Okay, think about it. Yeah, no, we'll come to him. I said that we'll take him. Yeah, it's okay, you can I can hear you. Yeah.
As you gave the example of Arjun. So from today onwards, I would like to think like Arjun and take the leap of faith whenever the opportunities are there.
But आपको अभी demonstrate करना है कि आप quick learner.
That's what I learned from her.
Yes. With your competitor. How do you know who is your competitor? Guys, before you start cross talking, just listen to what she has to say. Yeah.
Yes, like he or she is doing a work within 6 hours.
उसके लिए पहले आपको एक competitor ढूंढना पड़ेगा. फिर you will have to figure out what is the work that competitor is doing. Then you have to do that same work, एक stopwatch लगा के, and then you expect this particular person who is asking you the question to sit and watch कि इसने 5 घंटे 30 मिनट में कर दिया जो वो 6 घंटे में कर रहा है. No, no. You can't demonstrate like that, right? Yeah.
Sir, very good afternoon. I am Sudhir Naik. So it is the process how we relearn the thing, first unlearn and relearn, so that how fast we do the work is the work which we do.
Give me an
In context of
example.
Sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I can think of an example like a person is solving a cube and I'm observing that and able to solve that in the next moment and demonstrating it. Now, if a person is solving this.
आता हो गया आपका क्या और किसी को टाइम मिलेगा you have lost that and please understand in the corporate world no opportunities are very difficult to come by and if you miss an opportunity you have missed. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
So for me, learning of agility is adaptability, and I'll give you the example for it.
Okay.
Suppose I'm working at Microsoft and I'm
Suppose No supposition.
So I'm working.
Example में आपको पूछोगे जैसे बोला कि I'll give you an example. I got excited, but the moment you said suppose, finished.
So
Example is from real life. मैं ऐसे थोड़ी बोल सकता है. एक example दे रहा हूँ. Suppose.
Sir, example is if I'm an analyst and I'm using Power BI.
If there is a saying, okay, this Navjot Singh Sidhu had said, I don't know, maybe before you guys were born, but in a cricket match, he actually said, if ifs and buts were pots and pans, there won't be tinkers. Okay, please don't use ifs and buts. Ifs and buts have no place in the corporate world. Nobody wants to hear ifs and buts. Okay, yeah. Ah,
I was a customer service associate. My call holding time was very much, like it was above 10 minutes. So I learned from my fellow mates that how they are managing in 8 minutes, 7 minutes. So I learned from them. I heard their call recordings, how they are doing the things, and thereafter I implemented the same things in my conversation with the next customer, and I was able to reduce my call time.
what is your name?
Priyanshu Yadav.
Okay. Priyanshu, what do you want to become?
Well, right now I aspire to be a wealth manager.
Wealth manager, right?
Yes.
So, if you have to become a wealth manager, call holding time reduce करने से wealth manager कैसे बनाओ?
I was just
नहीं आपको calls वापस से उठाना है, वापस जाना है अर्जुन के story पे you have to go back to that particular thing, picking up calls.
I can be on the topper of that. I can manage the people who are working as like executives. I can be the team manager.
But you want to be a wealth manager. Wealth manager call center नहीं manage करता है.
So, I had that experience. I was.
Yeah. No, fair. Okay. Anybody else? Just one person now. But somebody has to have a. Okay. And there are many people. तीन आंसर. तीन लोगों को अपॉर्चुनिटी मिले. ठीक है? हाँ बोलो भाई. बैठ आराम से.
My background is in economics. I have no idea about
What? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
my background is in economics.
Correct.
And recently, my father came to me. He had some data in Excel, and he wanted to sort it out into a certain format, and it was 7,000 in BC. So I had to. He asked me, "Can I do it?" And me being, I have no idea about Excel or Python. I took it as a challenge. As a challenge, I had 2 days. So what I did was I used AI, I used Google.
What did you exactly use? What app in AI did you use?
DeepSeek, this open AI.
इतना bluff नहीं कर सकते.
ChatGPT,
Time नहीं मिलेगा.
ChatGPT, DeepSeek, and I used this GitHub. Okay, so what I did was I made that I learned about VBA, and I made that code, and it ran, and I was able to give that to him. The limitation was about 50 to 100 entries per round, so I ran it about
Because you had a free version.
no, because of my laptop. My laptop was not able to. So this is my example of I was able to learn entirely different thing, nothing to do with economics.
Yeah, good one, good one. Guys, give him a round of applause. The only missing points, okay? Maybe you may want to think about. Okay, there's already a good answer. For somebody who has not yet started an MBA course. Okay, so in the next 2 years, you can only better this. What I'm trying to make you think is that this still doesn't. I mean, if I want to question, I can definitely question you to say this doesn't show your transfer of learning agility. It shows your problem solving ability. Given a problem, you can find out ways and means of solving that particular problem. It necessarily doesn't showcase learning agility. I'll tell you guys the easiest way to look at learning agility. Okay, on your resume, I think everybody puts hobbies. एंड पीपल माइंडलेसली पुट हॉबीज, कुछ भी डाल देते हैं उसमें. और मेरा फेवरेट पास टाइम है कि मैं जब भी कैंपस में जाता हूँ, इंक्लूडिंग आई एम अहमदाबाद, आई विल पिक अप द हॉबीज ओनली. आई स्टार्ट फ्रॉम हॉबीज ओनली. मेरा फेवरेट एरिया है. तो आई स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द हॉबीज. और उसमें अगर आपने लिख लिया रीडिंग बुक्स, एंड आई एम अ बुक बफ, तो द फर्स्ट थिंग आई विल आस्क इज, ओके, विच बुक आर यू ऑन right now? Okay, and then obviously you would have got an idea ki where it will lead the person to. It's a difficult place to get into. So, but what you can do in the hobbies or your area section is, if you really have interest in diverse things, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आप म्यूजिक में भी इंटरेस्ट रखते हो, आप टेक्नोलॉजी में भी इंटरेस्ट रखते हो, आप सोशल वॉलंटियरिंग करते हो, यू आर पार्ट ऑफ रोटरी क्लब और समथिंग, बोलने के लिए नहीं, बट रियली यू डू समथिंग. ओके, देन you have interest in trees, ecology, those areas. So it can be anything. You have interest in swimming, you have ran marathon. It could be anything on the sun. Now, if you have 3 or 4, 5 different practices that you have inculcated or learned over a period of time, then you can showcase to say that, देखो sir, मेरा ये track record है, that I keep interest in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things. And most people who have very high learning agility, okay, would obviously have interest in everything in the world. And they will read, learn about multiple things. You know why? Because the recipe of learning, knowledge inculcate करने का जो recipe होता है, it is the same only. It's very transferable. So what will apply to one thing will apply to another thing also. So if you can show that the most difficult instrument in the world, violin, मैंने violin भी सीखा है. Okay, if you can say कि मैं cycling भी करता हूँ, मैं flute भी बजाता हूँ, ठीक है, मैं पेंटिंग भी करता हूँ या करती हूँ, मैं बुक्स भी रीड करता हूँ. ओके, मैं सोशल कॉज में भी इंटरेस्ट रखता हूँ. आई गो train children on writing or something like that. So this shows your transferability of that. First of all, it shows the fact that you are interested in multiple things, so you are not scared to venture into an area or an uncharted territory. Because what happens with people most of the time, there is first a mental block. Okay, whenever you have to learn anything new, the first thing that happens is the mental block, where you think अरे हो पाएगा, कर पाएंगे, होगा नहीं यार छोड़ दे. This is the general approach that your chimpanzee brain tells you. When you overcome the chimpanzee, and for people who have a vast repertoire, for them it becomes very easy. The reason it becomes easy is because they have mastered this skill or ability to kind of move across multiple areas and have learned through all of that. So the unique things that they have learned or acclimatized themselves to, which equips them to kind of look at an uncharted territory, will be much higher than a person who is very limited. Okay, so the more multi-dimensional your personality is, and the more ability for you to say I am not omnidirectional, but I am multi-directional in terms of my personality, immediately it's a reflection of your learning agility. Number one, any questions on this? आगे बढ़े? Okay, second most important part, and which is why I stopped him in between. Second most important part, integrity. Okay, and the example that I gave you, hobbies, लोग कुछ भी लिखते हैं, and in 2 minutes I can figure out if the person knows what he has written और ऐसे ही लिख दिया, because ये जो reading books and all is like a common thing, you know, every Tom, Dick and Harry writes that. So it's very easy, and if you can't be truthful to yourself, जब आप आपके खुद का resume बना रहे हो और किसी के कंपनी में क्या काम करो. Okay, so that's a clear parameter for us. So the second thing that we look at is integrity. Okay, very clearly. And the third is this ability to adapt. Which somebody spoke about adaptability, but in a different context. Okay, this is what I look for. Okay, I look for people who are adaptive. So people who say कि मेरे घर के घर से 10 किलोमीटर दूर है, 15 किलोमीटर दूर है, are clear red flags, at least for me. Okay, are clear red flags. I will never hire a person who says that अरे तो 10 किलोमीटर दूर था इसलिए नहीं किया, इसलिए नहीं गया यहाँ पर या नहीं किया. Because it shows intent. It shows intent and ability to put in efforts. Nothing comes free, guys. Nothing comes free. Everything requires effort. Even on ChatGPT, you have to put a prompt, and the quality of your prompt decides what response you get. So nothing comes free, and these are three things that I find really valuable, and I assess with every person that I meet. If you have these three things, anything under the sun you can do, because there is nothing else in the world to do. All the jargon that people keep talking about in industry and all is just jargon, you know. So anybody can do anything. Classic example. I'm just not saying something for the sake of saying. How many of you have heard about Leena here? Leena Nayak नाम सुना है? नहीं सुना है. Leena Nayak used to be the CHRO of Unilever. She moved from there and became the CEO of a company. CEO of a cosmetic company that she doesn't know anything about. Okay, but she was able to do it. Okay, there is a new lady, by the way. Her name is Priya Nayak. This is yesterday. This is yesterday. Priya Nayak taken over as the CEO of HUL. Okay, read about Leena. Okay, Leena Nayak नाम सुनो. ये करो. She was a CHRO. From a CHRO, she moved to a CEO. तो ऐसा किसी ने लिखा नहीं है कि आप एक चीज कर सकते हो तो दूसरा नहीं कर सकते, या कुछ करोगे तो और कुछ नहीं कर सकते. These three things that I told you, if you have these three things in yourself, or you forcefully develop it in you. If you don't have, you forcefully develop it in you, you will be successful. Okay, in anything that you take up. And the skills and all will keep changing. Today you will have some fintech, tomorrow you will have some tech, some new things, somebody will keep coining. Okay. And I'll be hopeful that some of you guys would be those people who would be coining those terms. Okay, and working on those. Okay. Any other question? ऐसे किसी को लेंगे जिसने अभी तक बात ही नहीं की, तो अभी तक एकदम चुप है. आपने नहीं किया. बोलो.
C plus and about the digital part analytics. So, sir, I want to know that the digital innovations, how will the digital innovations help us like the newcomers?
No, us in the sense, are you referring to you as a student?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And what is your question? How will it help?
How will the digital innovations help us get recruitment of the job positions?
I don't think any digital innovation helps anybody get jobs. Okay, of course, there is a certain reach that you can get thanks to social media, whether it is LinkedIn or the other applications that are there. But essentially, it is all a factor of just networking. You build a certain amount of network, you be in the network of the right people, and if you have the abilities that I spoke about, obviously you will make genuine friendships, relationships, etc., which will lead you to opportunities. And that's how the world works specifically. So it's not based on, digital innovation will not it just helps you reach a place, but it will not help you land a job. Okay, yeah. You asked a question earlier. Yeah.
So, DCB Bank have 464 branches across India. So, as a group associate vice president, you have to monitor all the branches.
No.
So you need to have some data, right?
Oh.
You need to have some data of all the branches.
Okay.
So, I wish to know that there were a centralized system also. So how does the system work?
No. What is your understanding? Okay, first things first. What did he do? He asked me closed-ended questions. So he gave me an opportunity to say yes or no. And the chances of me saying no is far higher than chances of being of yes. पहले दो क्वेश्चन उसने क्लोज एंडेड पूछे, मैंने नो आंसर दे दिए, ठीक है, खत्म. सो इट्स लाइक अगर आप लोग तो ये एज में हो, सो आई कैन गिव यू दिस एग्जांपल. ओके, whenever you have interest in anybody of the opposite gender and you want to approach this person, okay, what do you generally do? You will never ask the closed-ended question, na? Do you like me? What if the person says no? Done. You have closed your door. So first rule in corporate life, okay, which you have to start practicing from today, is never ask closed-ended questions. When you want an answer, so you ask what an open-ended question. How was your third question different from the first two questions? Third question में आपने पूछा, I want to know about something. ओके, तो यहाँ पर अभी कोई गुंजाइश है मुझे कुछ बोलने की, बिकॉज इट्स नॉट यस एंड नो, सो आई हैव टू रेस्पॉन्ड. ओके, नाउ आई हैव आस्क्ड हिम अ क्वेश्चन. व्हाट क्वेश्चन डिड आई आस्क यू? डू यू रिमेंबर? भूल गए?
So want to ask person in this.
No. What question did I ask?
I want to.
नहीं, मैंने वो नहीं पूछा. But okay, tell me what is the question you asked? वो तो आप लिख के लाए हो. हाँ, बोलो. What is the question that you wanted to ask me?
So how does the centralized system work to get some data to?
Hold. First, there is a centralized system. Number one. These are all assumptions you are making. Do you know there is a centralized system?
Has to be.
Okay. Question number two. Do you know what portfolio I handle? Question number three. Do you know how these 463 odd branches are integrated? 4. Do you know who are people who are managing these particular branches? You know the corporate structure of a bank. Ever worked in a bank? Never worked in. Okay. तो आपको कैसे पता चलेगा अगर ऐसा क्वेश्चन पूछोगे? When you do not understand the framework of a bank and how a bank functions. Sit up. See, I'll answer your question. Okay. First of all, I don't manage branches because I am in human resources. Okay. So I manage the people who manage branches. Okay. That's what I manage. And I don't directly manage them. Because HR कोई काम नहीं करता. Yeah, I'm not kidding. HR doesn't do anything. Okay. What is HR's role? HR is that facilitator HR is that lighthouse. You know, have you seen a lighthouse? Lighthouse थोड़ी मूव होता है किधर कुछ करता है, कुछ नहीं करता है, सिर्फ कोई एक लाइट है वो शोकेस करते रहते. But how does it help others? It helps others find direction. That is what it does. So that is what HR does as a part of whether we form policy, structure, procedure. जो भी बनाते हैं, it is just to guide the path. Okay, that's all that we do. और कुछ नहीं करते. जितने भी लोग हैं जिन्होंने काम किया और बोलते हैं कि एचआर ने रेटिंग दिया है, एचआर ने सैलरी दी है, दे आर ब्लफिंग. एचआर किसी को सैलरी नहीं देता, एचआर किसी को रेटिंग नहीं देता सिवाय अपने लोगों की. Okay, they manage a process or they facilitate a process whereby there is some fairness, transparency, some standards, codes, etc. are managed. Okay, now coming to your question. Okay, पहली बात तो there is no concept of centralization. Secondly, you asked about centralization of data. That's not what you asked. Okay, but how HR works, I have told you now. Okay, so me sitting out of the corporate office, I don't know honestly what is happening in, say, a remote branch that we have opened in Odisha. Okay, as we talk, I have no ways to figure out. Okay, and please understand, this is how people are. The more you get at senior levels, the more far away you are from the ground level. Okay, so what do I use? Okay, I use external mechanisms. I use technology. We have a sentiment analysis tool. It reaches out, asks questions to our people. भाई सब कुछ ठीक ठाक चल रहा है, आप खुश हो नहीं हो, अगर वो बोल दिया उन्होंने नहीं है तो वो मुझे इनपुट्स मिलेगा and then my team collates that particular data on a dashboard and then they look at those things and make sense कि कौन से locations में क्या चल रहा है, which locations are working fine, which are not working fine, so on and so forth. Okay, and places where we are not working, then we have mechanisms to see what is not working. Is it a policy problem? Is it a structure problem? Is it a practice problem? Is it a person problem? Then we get on to some kind of root cause analysis, and that's how we manage people. I have no ways to know what a branch manager in a remote location in maybe a Rajasthan or some place is doing at this point in time. There is no ways I can know it real time, no matter where technology goes. Okay, so I have to use some set of data that I collect over a period of time to make some kind of relevant inferences कि यहाँ पर ये होता होगा, यहाँ पर ये sentiment होगा, etc. Okay. Any other question?
Sir, my name is Ray, and sir, I want to know from you the line between information, knowledge, and learnings.
हाँ, okay, very good question. Okay, मैं सोच ही रहा था किसी ने अभी तक ये पूछा ही नहीं. Okay, good one. Okay, so okay, information, like I said, is saying कि Shyam Panikar works for DCB Bank. This is information. Anybody can have it. Okay. What is knowledge? Knowledge would be what level of what is the level at which Shyam Panikar is working. Now, level, I don't mean the grade. Grade though you can see, okay? But what amount of influence does he have? How close he is to the board? Okay, what kind of face time does he have to the board? Okay, or what all aspects does Shyam Panikar have expertise in? Okay, where all can he influence? What are areas that doesn't come into his area of influence, etc. is something that is part of knowledge. So what you're doing, you're getting information. Cham is from basically that. Okay, then you're collating some more information along with it. कौन से level पे है, blah 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 blah. How many years he has spent, etc. Now a churning of that moves to a higher level, which is called knowledge. Knowledge is more concise, workable. Okay, and for that you need to spend a lot more time into understanding my role, spending time with me only, then you will be able to refine from information to knowledge. And learning is something else only. Over a period of time, say for instance, if you work as part of my team or something, maybe there is a possibility that you will learn that Sham likes this, doesn't like this. Okay, if you have to present a report to Sham or if you have to speak to him, you may want to use this kind of technique to speak to him, or the fact that Sham Panikar is more visual, okay, not auditory. तो अगर आप कोई सुनने का चीज बोलोगे उसको समझ में नहीं आएगा, बट अगर कुछ दिखाओगे तो समझ में आएगा. All these is part of your learning, and because learning is part of personality, now you are getting into the personality of that particular individual. Okay, so now you are understanding what the likes of that person, not dislikes of that person, etc. etc. So now from information you have moved all the way to from knowledge on to learning. Okay, and learning is a continuous process. You will keep learning. Say for instance, there are some behaviors or instances you will have with me, and you will categorize me as something. You will categorize me saying, "Arey sunta nahi." Example. Okay, this is one particular aspect. Now, what will happen is, over a period of time, you will further keep distilling your learning. You will keep saying, no, 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 हर जगह पे नहीं, कुछ जगह पे नहीं सुनता, कुछ जगह पे बराबर सुनता है, कुछ जगह पे ज्यादा सुनता है, कुछ जगह पे कम सुनता है. Okay, now all these nuances are part of learning, which you develop. And the reason that I say there is a huge difference between knowledge and learning is, two people may have the same knowledge, okay, but how they will implement it or what action they will do out of it may differ because their learnings are different. What they take out of it will be very different. Did I answer your question? Yeah.
knowledge, you are able to go through it. And it's going to tell you, you are still implementing, workable, and
Yeah, see, learning is something that you adopt to yourself. So you are able to extract it or implement it in multiple connotations or contexts. Okay, you can apply that same knowledge that you hold, okay, in multiple scenarios or circumstances. Whereas information is standard, you can't do anything with it. Now, whatever I'm doing with the bank, this is information, okay? You can't turn this into action. आप इसका क्या करोगे? ये तो है, सबको पता है ये मेरे बारे में अभी जो लिखा हुआ है वहां पर. Okay, that doesn't say anything about me. Okay, neither will it help you have a conversation with me because it's simply information. Okay, when you start using it as part of your knowledge, okay, when you start crystallizing it based on your own understanding, HR वाले कैसे होते हैं, क्यों ऐसे होते हैं, HR में if somebody is a group associate vice president, what does it mean? What could they be doing now? Taking from his point, what he was talking about, structures, levels, right? That is where you apply that particular knowledge to say, okay, if I know that the highest grade in the bank is MD and CEO, okay, then you come downwards, then you will be able to figure out, okay, he is the one level down reportee of the MD and CEO, okay? इससे आपको कुछ नहीं पता चलता, इससे आपको थोड़ी पता चलता है कि मैं who do I report to, right? But now you have crystallized that information into knowledge because now you have got more information कि ये बैंक में कितने levels है, उसका top level में कौन है, MD and CEO है, तो उस level से कितना level down है ये बंदा. Now you have formed some जो बोलते हैं ना plot, in a story you build some plot, right? जिसको भूमिका कहते हैं. So now you have built something, okay? And learning is you applying that status. कि for example, I have come to meet you. Now you have figured कि HR वाला ऐसा होता है. Say tomorrow some person comes in your campus, okay, to kind of meet you. You will be in a better position to speak to that person, interact with that person. Why? Because now whatever knowledge condensed you have here, you will be able to transfer it, port it. That's why I said there is a concept of portability. I used that term sometime before. That is where portability comes in. Which is why I said learning agility is what makes a person portable. The speed at which you can condense this, concise this. आपने बहुत relevant question पूछा इसलिए because a lot of people just remain at information only. They don't get beyond this level. And the concept of information has become redundant today because it's at the click of a button. Everybody has all information. But वो information का आप क्या करते हो? You know, how do you help mobilize it is what is most important. Okay. That's it. Any other question? Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I have a couple of questions regarding the HR. So the first question is, can you please help me know the key points and HR can focus to retain in the same domain?
Sorry, I didn't hear you. Can you come back?
I'm saying like, what are the key points and HR can focus to retain in the same domain? The same domain. Like if someone has a work executive human resource and want to switch their career or want to switch the domain into either finance or marketing, so what are the points they can focus to remain in the same domain? It will remain in the
remain in the same domain or move out of the domain? To remain in the same domain, कुछ नहीं लगे रहो, जो कर रहे हो वही करो.
I have.
You mean to say to move out of the domain? No.
Remain in the same domain.
Remain in the same domain, कुछ नहीं, कोई same काम करते रहो तो करना. मैं HR का हूँ, HR का ही काम करता हूँ.
So also companies like what is the hierarchy of management? What are the levels we can see into any human resource?
Okay, so hierarchy for HR, see, it depends from organization to organization. See, please understand, organization structure, unfortunately, we don't have so much of time. But these are all good questions. I hope somebody comes and then gives you clarity on this as you go through the next 2 years. Okay, see, organization is meant for a purpose. Okay, based on that purpose, there is a structure that is formed. Okay, key who will be at the helm of affairs. Okay, will it be governed? Is it regulatory in nature? For example, banking is regulatory. Okay, you can't have a private, you can't have a bank which is not listed. A bank has to be listed. It is governed by RBI. Okay, so you have people who are giving you those directions. So the person who is at the head of that particular organization will be called as an MD and CEO, will be appointed by RBI. Okay, and the tenure is decided by RBI. So these are governance based things. Now you trickle come one level down. Okay, you will decide, are you a small finance bank? Are you a private bank? You know what is your focus area? I'm just sticking to banking, but this applies to any industry you may take. Okay, the structure remains the same. Basis this, they will form a structure. ओके कि ये एमडी एंड सीईओ है उसके बाद डू यू रिक्वायर अ मार्केटिंग पर्सन और डू यू रिक्वायर अ सेल्स हेड then under that sales head you want multiple product or unit heads that you have or you want all of that unit heads to independently report to the MD and CEO. Okay, वैसा एक position of a particular unit is HR. उसका head of that position is called the head of HR. Okay, now there also there may be multiple structure. How large are you? If you are really a large organization, then you may want to split your group into something called as the corporate HR and something called as line HR. Okay, line HR are more ground up. Okay, they know the ground realities of employees because they operate in specific location. Whereas corporate HR is responsible for linking HR to the business strategy or the organization strategy. They devise policies, practices, do's and don'ts, what can be done, what cannot be done, etc. Simple answer beyond this is very generic. Okay, don't hold me for this. I can give 3-4 hour lecture on just org structure. It's a very intense topic, but layman terms. Okay, this is how the structure works. And the head of HR is the head of. Is domain switch necessary for HR? By domain you mean industry. What do you mean by domain? No. That is industry. What you are talking about is industry. Say banking is industry. Okay, FMCG industry, telecom it's an industry. Okay, so these are industries. So question that I hear you asking is that is it necessary for HR people to switch industries?
So what industry? Say I need to switch to my industry, but is it necessary for me to switch my domain also from HR to finance or marketing? No, that was
not necessary.
See.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, somebody there. Guys. Every time that somebody asks you something now, it may be something that is on your mind already, but maybe you don't have the courage or the guts to ask that question. And maybe my response could be answer to some question that you have not even thought about. You have got. So please be patient enough to listen. Very important skill.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Vaishnavi Saxena.
Yes.
So my question was, what a HR of a company expects from a HR specialization student in an interview?
In an interview?
Yeah.
See, as far as if you ask me as a individual, I will stick to the 3 things that I told you. I am not interested in a word of HR that you know or don't know. It's materially irrelevant for me. I never ask any HR based question. मैं HR based question उन्हीं को पूछता हूँ जिनको already experience है और जो लोग अपने resume में भर भर के डालते हैं कि उन्होंने कुछ HR में ये किया वो किया When people, the more jargons people use, the more I get excited to ask questions to them. But if they generally, I stick to assessing. ये तीन areas that I spoke about, ये assess करने में बहुत time लगता है. Adaptability assess करने में बहुत समय लगता है. Okay, integrity assess करने में समय लगता है. So it is not so easy. It takes time. So I stick to only this. But I do believe that whichever domain you are part of, or whichever domain you have interest in, somebody said उसको wealth manager बन, ठीक है? अब just imagine कि he's sitting in front of an individual for an interview to become a wealth manager, और उसको पता ही नहीं wealth manager होता क्या है, करता क्या है. You know, if a person doesn't know, then it's a sorry figure. So as long as you are an HR student, you understand HR. I mean, if I ask you that, okay, recruitment, how does it happen? Or if I ask you, okay, name me 5 departments or specializations within HR, as long as you are able to give answers to that, I think it is fair. At least for me. Okay, but the fact is that if you have the first competency that I spoke about, learning agility, okay, then obviously you will be very curious in everything. आपको ओबी सिखाएंगे आप घुस जाओगे उसमें, right? आपको ओडी सिखाएंगे you will get involved into in depth into it. So that's a natural process. So that first thing only will ensure कि you have the necessary thing. And बाद में आपको सबको सब कुछ पता नहीं होगा, right? After 20 years of experience, there are many things I don't know. I'm still learning. Okay, so I don't test people on the basis of how much they know.
Thank you, sir. I believe we had a very wonderful session with you. From the yes. Thank you, sir. I believe we have a wonderful session with you. Let's take a deep dive into the learning curve which we learned. At first, we learned about Arjun and Arjun's story, how to take the leap. We then learned about a great book by Joseph Campbell, which is Hero's Journey, and you suggested us to go through it, and we assure you will go through it. Then we learned about if we have interest in diverse fields, which I feel the Gen Z coming up has an interest in diverse fields like music. In every other field, we take an interest. We will overcome our mental block. I can assure you that. Thank you, sir. And we will show intent and efforts. We will learn about Lean and we will cherish these learnings and keep these learnings in the chambers of our heart and mind. Thank you, sir, for coming and joining with us and delivering such an insightful and engaging session. We are especially grateful to our three members of the faculty. Can we have a close round of applause, please? With the students, yes.
All the very best to
Samiksha. I don't need it.